Everybody, Hey MP here. Today I wanted to walk through setting up Contenta on Docker. You can find, if you Google just Contenta Docker, it's the first one that comes up. It's on the Contenta CMS GitHub organization. It's just called Contenta_Docker. So this is probably the how I would recommend setting up Contenta. It's pretty slick, pretty easy. And definitely if you're using Docker to manage some of your projects, this is a no-brainer. So I've started a folder here called Hacks Docker. This is going to be a Docker environment that runs one of our Hacks applications. And as you can see, it's just empty here. So I'm going to clone this Contenta Docker repo into my empty Hacks Docker folder. Let's see here. Why does it say that? Oh, probably because there's a file. Yeah. Get out of here, DS store. Okay. Let's try that again. Okay, so it's cloned it in. So let's open it up and take a quick peek of what kind of files we can find in here. So you'll see a couple folders: the database, the Nginx layer, PHP, and some volumes. Inside of volumes, there's a backup and restore script, some environment variables, and the Docker Compose. So the first thing that we're going to do, as this states, is just run Docker Compose build. What Docker Compose build will do is build out all of the images that are listed here in the Docker Compose. Now, this might take some time. It might take about 10 minutes to get everything together. So what we're going to do is we're going to skip ahead, and I'll meet you back after everything installs. Okay, so it looks like the process just ended, and it installed successfully. So it took about 10 minutes or so to go out and get everything and build those images. My apologies if the computer fan is really annoying. I'm processing some video as well as doing all this Docker stuff, so it's really screaming. Okay, so if we consult the documentation here, we see that the next step is to run Docker Compose up. Now, before I do that, the one thing I am going to do is I'm going to shut down all of my existing Docker processes, or containers rather, and that's because I don't want any naming conflicts with or some port conflicts. So to do that, this is something that you can do if you want to, and if not, you don't have to. But I'm going to do it just to be safe. So this command will stop all existing containers. So be careful if you have any data in those containers that aren't stored in volumes, you will lose your data there. So just as a word of precaution. Okay, so now I have no Docker containers running. I'm going to Docker Compose up this project here. And so what that's going to do is start these services, and it should start on port, let's see here, where is it going to serve it out of? Looks like port 80. So we're going to be able to access Contenta on the Nginx service, which is exposed on port 80. So if we just visit localhost, you should see it. Okay, so Contenta is not installed yet. The install profile is there, but it's not installed yet. So we could just walk through this and install it manually, or we can run this command here to initialize Drupal. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to stop. I'm going to Control-C out of that Docker Compose up. And I'm going to run a docker exec command. Now, this is probably going to be different. So this is executing a command in a container that's called Contenta PHP1. This is probably going to change based on what your folder is called. So in my case, it's probably going to say hacks docker _php_1. So instead of doing that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to list all of my Docker containers just to see what they're named. Okay, let me get some more screen real estate here. So if you do docker ps-a, it will list all of your existing containers. And here we can see we have 3 existing containers, one of which is called hacks docker _php_1. So it's going to be the container containing folder name that you have it in, _php_1. So we're gonna grab that name, and we are going to run docker exec, paste in that name, and then init -Drupal. So what that's going to do is it's going to start creating Contenta, and it initializes a bunch of the REST services, installs the Contenta profile, as well as setting up some default content for you. So I'm going to let this run, and it shouldn't take too long. We'll come right back. Okay, so it didn't take too long at all. Looks like it installed correctly, and the very last line is a URL link to get into your Drupal site. So let's click that link, and bam, we are in. So let me get some more screen real estate. So we're in as admin. I'm going to change my password just to root, just so I can get in again. Okay, and from there it looks like we're set up. So if we go to /API, we can see that everything is set up and ready to go. It created a content type called tutorial, so we can explore that there. Contenta has some tutorials listed on here, some really good tutorials that talk about decoupling and REST, authentication, and even GraphQL. So there you go. That is how you install Contenta using Contenta Docker.